family, welcome back. This is part 2 of the video that I wanted more, or I didn't want anything else. So, when I started popping pills, that's all I wanted. I stopped drinking alcohol, I stopped doing everything. The only thing I would do is either pop a Vicodin and a Dr. Pepper and then a cigarette. That was my life. Or a pill and then a Red Bull and then a cigarette. That was like taking it to the next level. See, and I'm that kind of person where, like, people like to kick it with me because of that. Because of my drug knowledge, I guess you could say. It's just fucked up to say that I'm, like, good at knowing a lot about drugs. That's a fucked up thing to know about. But whenever, like, I'm kicking it with people, I'm that type of dude that tells you, dude, if you pop one of those and you take some vitamin C and if you eat some of this and you eat some of that, it'll enhance the feeling. If you pop some of these and then if you plug these, or if y'all know him, if you know, you know. And you know, like, when I was a kid, thought I was smart, yo. I thought I was smarter than everybody else, and came a point where, like, I started reading about, like, you know, prescription medication and everything, and when I started thinking about it, I'm like, opiate means heroin, you know what I mean? Like, heroin, and like, I had never seen heroin in my life, but I just knew what heroin does, and I knew what so I was like, opiate, poppy seeds, all this. So whenever I see opiates on something, I know what that means. And then I started looking, like, into books and all that, and I started knowing what benzodiazepines were, and then I got kicked out of my school, and they sent me to another, like, an alternative school, and over there at that alternative school, dog, like, during the 90s, Rohypnol was a big problem in El Paso. Rohypnol is the thing made by the Roche company. Roche, I don't know, R-O-C-H-E. And they call them roofies, they call them Rohypnols, they call them Roches, they call them date rape drugs. See, in El Paso during the 90s, like, there was this case where, like, a lot of the girls from Hanks High School were getting raped because these fools were putting these things in their drinks. I was in Keys Academy, that's the first time that I tried them. First of all, some cat named Luis, he thought he wanted to be a boss, like, he wanted to be, like, that was his goal. His goal was to be, like, an organized crime gang member, that type of dude. And he would, like, try to recruit people, and I was one of the guys where he came up, he's like, hey, man, I want to start slanging this shit, I want you to come in this with me, and we could do this. And I'm like, alright, cool. That's also the reason I tried acid for the first time, because of that kid. Anyways, that's going off topic. Well, whenever we were at school, one day, he came up to me, and he had already given me the shit, and I was slanging it for him, you know, he gave me acid that was in Fruit Loops. Like, the acid, he would get it for, like, no bullshit, dog, like $5 to $10, and the thing, like, you know, like a little Gerber jar, like a baby food jar. And he dipped the Fruit Loops in there, and we'd sell the Fruit Loops for like $10 each, and that was it. You know, you put the Fruit Loop underneath your tongue, and once it dissolved, you were good. Well, when I was selling Roches with this cat, as that one day he's like, we were walking by each other in the hallway, and he's like, they're onto us. So see, at this moment, I'm like, oh shit, like, what's gonna go down? Like, I think they know what's up. He says, you gotta get rid of your shit. We gotta get rid of our shit. And then I was like, well, what do I do with it? I didn't want to throw it away because I thought that was like a waste, you know? So what I did, I took them. I had like 2 or 3 of them, and I took them all. When I took the pills, I was like fucked up in the school. So, like, well, first of all, here's a few things. I don't remember exactly everything that happened that day. I remember a few things, little tidbits here and there. Like, I remember little pieces of the information about the things that happened, but I don't remember, like, exactly. I remember waking up in the alternative class from the school, which is the class that they send you when you're causing trouble. I also remember, like, whenever my mom picked me up, when she picked me up to go home or whatever, I get into the car, they tell me, hey, your mom's here. First of all, I'm walking towards the car, and I'm all messed up. Like, I don't even know how the hell I made it. And when I do get to the car, my mom's standing right there, because see, at this school right there that I used to go to, Keys Academy, you can't walk in or walk out by yourself. You have to be signed in, and you have to be signed out every single day. No fucking ifs, ands, or buts about it. So that day when my mom picked me up, and I got into the car, like she was trying to talk to me, you know, she was having a normal day. And then like while I'm in the fucking car, she's driving. See, at this point in time, while my mom is driving, all I see is like the other cars next to us and the lights and, you know, like the street signs and everything around us was just like flashing by me like choo, 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 like fast, you know what I mean? Like I'm seeing all this stuff just going by me real fast, and that's when my mom's driving. I guess she's just driving normal, you know what I'm saying? But at that moment, whenever she was doing that, she's driving, and I keep seeing everything, and as I'm seeing her, I notice that there's a car in front of us and the light is red. So in my mind, I'm like, she's going too fast. She's going too fast. Like, we're about to fucking crash into that shit. You know what I mean? What I did is I put my leg up and I put my arms on the mount of the car. What is it called? I don't know what you call it. Where the glove compartment is at. I don't know. Well, on that shit of the car, I put my foot up on the glove compartment and I put my hands forward and I'm like, stop! Like, I yelled very dramatically, you know what I mean, to where it freaked my mom out, and she's like, what the? And then, like once, like, I noticed that we were stopped, I was like, oh. And she's like, ya andas bien pendejo, ¿verdad, cabrón? Bah, bah. And she starts smacking me a few, you know what I'm saying? What the Spanish words that she said was like, oh, you're all fucked up, ain't you? And I was. So anyways, that was when I did Roches. After that, like, I knew how to look for things. I knew how to look for, like, painkillers. I knew how to look for benzos. I knew how to look for psychotropics. I knew how to look for ADHD medications. I knew how to look for medications. So, okay. Now, what I do, I'm sorry if I ever did it to you. I was a kid. I was only like 14 years old. I would go to people's houses, like my friends and my family and my cousins and stuff like that. And when I would be at their houses, I'd go use their restroom. As I go use their restroom, I would raid their frickin' their medicine cabinets in their restrooms. Or if they had medicine cabinets in their like living rooms or wherever they had it, you know what I'm saying? If they had them in their kitchens, or I would ask for an aspirin or a heartburn pill or something, and I would go through all the pills. I would start going through all the pills, and as I would go through the pills, I'm like, oh, this one's good, this one's good, this one's good. Where I fucked up a little bit too is that I started teaching my cousin and my brother what I knew, you know what I mean? And so, like, I'm sure my cousin's mom holds me responsible for, like, him falling into it, you know what I mean? Like, being all about it. So anyways, from that moment on, like, my knowledge of pills was just growing and growing. Then Google was invented like in 1998 or some shit like that. I found out about Google, and when I found out that at Google you could ask it anything and get the answer to anything, I started using it for pills. At first I would say like, oh, this pill has this and that. Next thing I would do, all you have to do is enter in a fucking description of the pill, dude. Like, you say, pink pill, oblong, or round, or oval, or square, or, you know, and it has a line on it, and it has the numbers, this, and that, 356, or 367, or, you know, whatever number that it had, you just put the damn number on the Google, and the next thing you know, Google tells you exactly what kind of pill is. You could even ask, can you abuse this? Is this pill addictive? Is this pill a narcotic? Is this pill a Schedule 1, a Schedule 2, a Schedule 3? Like, next thing you know, I think I'm so fucking smart, and I'm looking up pills on Google like a motherfucker all the time, and I'm telling people like, oh man, this one's good, this one's good, this one's good. Now I'm talking about, this is when I was like 16, 17 years old, man. Like, I was a young kid, like, knowing all this shit already. When I was like doing all that, I found out my uncle and my aunt, they had like this very what would you say, like, her medicine cabinet was like no other, dude. Like, crazy. And the reason why is because my aunt would go to Juarez, Mexico a lot, because her husband was from Juarez, Mexico. Like, she had this times 100 all up on her kitchen, like above her stove and all that. And what would happen is they would go to Mexico, and in Juarez, Mexico, dog, shit, you give a doctor $20, He'll give you a doctor's note. Like if you called into work, he'll give you a prescription for anything. Back then you could get a prescription for anything in Juarez. Anything. Okay, so I rated their shit, and when I rated their shit, they had a lot of Valium. A lot of Valium. See, it was also made by the Roche company. First of all, when I saw Roche, I was like, oh shit. And then I started reading it up a little bit more on it, and I'm like, oh shit, this is good. So I didn't take them all because I didn't know what was up with them. I didn't know what the pills were about. I didn't know what they were for. I didn't even know whose they were or if they needed them. If they needed the fucking pills, you know what I mean? So I just left them there. But what I did is I told my cousin Mario, I'm like, yo, you see them shits right there? He's like, which ones? I'm like, those right there. He's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, those right there will fuck us up, dog. Like, taking one of those is like drinking an 18-pack of beer. Oh, there's no shit? For real? No shit, dog, for real. Next thing you know, they calling my mom and telling her, like, why the fuck did your son give my son this shit and blah, blah, blah. I didn't give it to him. But what happened was, whenever I wasn't there no more later on, he stole all of them from his parents. And next thing you know, he's popping them and they're all fucking mad. And I don't know. Anyways, so back to the future. Whenever I started getting into Vicodins and I was working at Denny's, I didn't want nothing else. I didn't want no other drugs. I didn't want nothing. I was on Vicodin for 10 fucking years. When I did it here in Las Cruces, like I would buy it for friends' moms, friends' uncles. I had this homeboy who he got run over by a tractor. They ran over all his legs all the way up to like the top, and that dude would get all the pills. The maintenance man from my apartments, that man right there, he had like a fucked up leg too. He walked around like that. And that dude would get oxys, like a big ass bottle of Oxycontins, Oxycontins, Oxycodones, all the oxys, Vicoprofens, Vicodins, like there was so much shit. And if you know how to look for it, the generic name is, it's not, oh yeah, that is, the real name is Percocet and Vicodin. The generic names are Oxycodone or Oxycontin or Oxycontin. And then the other one is, well, there's also morphine pills. Like, people have morphine pills too, but... Or, what are the other ones? I don't know. What is the... Shit, I can't remember what the Vicodin generic name is. It's, damn. Oh, it's a fucking opiate. I can't remember right now. It's like a brain fart. Anyways. I started popping pills a lot. You know, Las Cruces. Even one of my homeboys, his mom... She would get them a lot, and her husband would sell them to me. This nigga's name was Elvis Cash. No fucking lie. He would sell me. He said he was related to Johnny Cash too. No lie. His son was my homeboy. His name was... I'm giving you guys too much fucking information, and I'm putting all these people on the cross, so that's enough of mentioning those people's names. I'll buy the pills from that cat. Sometimes I get fronted. Then I had other homies who would get pills too, and I had other people that like... were older, and then I started meeting new people. A lot of the people that I know now, I met them because of that. See, and then the thing is, I started like getting to know the heroin addicts, because the heroin addicts, they're in the same circle. I never shot heroin. Not once in my fucking life have I ever put a needle of heroin in my body. Ever, 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 not once. I've injected a drug one time in my life. I'm ashamed to say it. I was only 16 years old. And the circumstance in which it happened was kind of weird. It wasn't something that I wanted, but it happened, and I injected cocaine one time when I was 16. It's the only time I've ever put an injection in my body with drugs in it. It's my fucking confessions, right? That's fucked up. Anyways, I would hang out with the heroin addicts because they knew where to get it, and they always had pills too. And see, the thing is, later on, the heroin addicts and the pill addicts all need to take the same things to get over the withdrawals, which is either Suboxone or, back in the days, the first thing that we had was something morphone or some shit like that. What was it called? Hydromorphone or morphine or methadone. Methadone was the first thing that they used to give people that were addicted to Vicodin and heroin. And that shit, like, it was gross, man. Like, dude, like, honestly, I've taken so many pills and shit. in my life. Because, see, once you're addicted and you can't find the right shit, you start kind of like seeing other things that are kind of like that. Like, there's other pills that are like it, but they're just not as good. And I wish I could remember the names of them right now. There's just so many of them, man. Like, I'll remember them, and as I remember them, I'll mention them. These other pills, some of them would make me like psychotic, like gabapentins. Fuck those pills. Don't ever take those pills, dog. Those are fucked up. They would make me feel like, and I'm not the only one. Other people that I know. And see, the thing is, we tested it once, had the thing, then years later tried it again, and fuck, man, like it's the same thing, the same feeling, the same fucked up psycho fucking thoughts. We stopped taking gabapentin. What else? It's because things are coming to me as I'm remembering. Whenever we were at the highest point, you know, like of taking pills, like honestly, in my last few days that I was popping pills, I needed to pop like 80 fucking Vicodin pills. The highest dosage, which was 10 milligrams / 325. That means they had only 325 acetaminophen, and then the rest of it was the hydrocodone. Okay? So, the pills that I was taking, like 80 of them, the way we were getting them, so fucking I moved away from Las Cruces. I went to El Paso, Texas. And I went to El Paso. I was locked up for a little bit. When I came out, my cousin knew some like a nurse chick. And this nurse chick, she worked like for a doctor, and she was able to write doctor's notes for us. So he was popping pills by this time now, and like he would get them from like, you know, homies and homegirls that he had, because he was slanging dope. When you slang dope, it's easy to get anything, because people that like dope will bring you anything, dude. Like I slanged dope for a little bit too when I was younger, and when you're slanging dope, when your fienders come to your house, you could tell them this: "Hey dog, man, I got another 20 for you if you could bring me some pills." Or, "Hey man, 10 and a halves, man, bring them all day. 10 and a halves all day long. Bring me 10 and a halves and 11s, and I got a 20 for you." Just anything, dude. And then after that, once they know that you like shit like that, next thing you know, they're bringing you fucking hordes of pills from all over the place. They're bringing you stolen shit from all over the place. It doesn't pay off, because to be honest, all the shit that I earned while selling dope, I had to sell to get out of jail. So fuck that shit. Don't sell dope. Fuck that. Just work hard, make your money. Fuck that. Legal money. Anyways, so he was getting pills, and we had the prescription, and I was able to give it to my probation officer and tell him like, "Yo man, I got these because I was kind of sick." I don't know what I told him. I probably told him I had an ear infection or some shit like that. But you know, as the prescriptions wear off, I mean the excuses wear off, and they keep drug testing you, you could really screw yourself in that shit. So next thing you know, man, like I'm getting these doctor's notes, keep giving them to my PO, and keep popping pills like a mofo. Well, one time when my cuz got popped, he was locked up. During that time, this chick, she was hooked. I don't know. According to the story, what she told my girl, because you know girls talk, was that she was like hooking up with this dude, not really hooked up, but they were working on it. They were talking to each other, and that dude would call my cousin like names, like, "Oh, you're back with your little fucking midget. Oh, you're back with your fucking pelon." Like that dude would talk shit to my cousin's girlfriend about my cousin. We would all act like stupid, because that guy, he would tell her, like the way he started talking to her, something like that, like, "Hey man, you like pills, man? I could get you all the pills that you want." That's how it started. Next thing you know, somehow they got to know each other, and this dude was writing the scripts, man. He worked for a podiatrist. You know, if you don't know what a podiatrist is, that's a person that works on your feet. See, this is a foot doctor, dog. Like, that's all he does is pull out ingrown nails and, you know, foot stuff. So he's like this little office over there, like in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, just stashed out in a corner, where nobody probably paid attention to this place, but they're making mad money off of us because we're buying fucking prescriptions off of him like crazy, dog. I'm talking about like, we were buying like, he would buy 2 and I would buy 2 a day. Each prescription had like what, like 90 pills or 120 pills, because you could take 4 of them a day. So it had 120 pills, and each prescription also had 2 refills. Now, we were paying like $50 per prescription. And that included the 3 refills altogether. And each one was like at 90 to 120 pills. And then whenever we would go cash them in, see, depends on whose name the prescription was under. If the prescription was under somebody who had Medicaid's name, then you got the prescription for free. Of course, right? Because Medicaid pays for it. But if the prescription was like under somebody else's name, first of all, there's discount cards, the medical discount cards. With those, you could get it for like $30, $60. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to pay that much with those. And then with the frickin', we would try to get discounts all the time. If you had to pay full price, honestly, if it was like the generic brand, you could get them for like $30, $40. What else? So we were taking a lot of pills. We were popping a lot of pills. And see, living in El Paso, there's another thing. The pills were pretty much at first paying for themselves. The way that is because in El Paso, there's a lot of military dudes. Now these military dudes, they got a lot of freaking money. They're like retired, you know. A lot of them have like PTSD, and a lot of them have like problems like that. But they all have guns. They all have money. They all have homes. They all have careers. They all have government protection. They all have all this access. You know what I mean? So them, especially because a lot of them come from like cities and states like New York, and they come from places like frickin', you know, different states where pills over there in New York, one Vicodin pill, a 5 milligram, is supposed to be like $10 frickin' dollars, bro. So these people, if you get them, you sell them the freaking pills for $10 each, and if you're selling them for $10, the rest is all profit. All you gotta do is sell like 10 pills, and you made $100. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, like, this was all over the place. So the pills were pretty much paying for themselves. That's how I was able to get so fucking hooked, man. Like, so fucking hooked. Problem is, at the beginning, one pill would last me all fucking day till the next day. I still felt it a little bit. If in the next day I drank like a little bit of coffee or something, and like it would make the pill pop in my stomach again, I guess. And when the pill would pop again, it's like I felt it all over again, bro. Like, I swear. So that was that. And but then towards the end, no matter how many pills I took, to be honest, all it was doing was just not letting me feel sick anymore. That's all it was doing, was taking away the sickness. Like, not letting me feel sick, not letting me feel the withdrawal pain. That's all it was doing. That's the only thing that the pills were doing at that point. They weren't even getting me high no more. Just not feeling sick. And for anybody that hasn't felt this in their lives, withdrawal from heroin or from opiates or from anything like that, it's one of the worst fucking feelings you'll ever feel in your whole life, yo. If you have never felt it, you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you have, you know exactly what I'm saying. It's one of the worst freaking feelings in the world, and it fucking sucks. The way it all came to an end is I moved to Las Cruces, man. I had to get away from all the shit, you know what I mean? Because everything was so fucked up. And then at that point, too, like, my cousin and that dude were kind of acting a little bit shady. Like, sometimes they would cut me off for, like, a week or two, and they didn't want to sell me shit. And then, like, once they needed money again or whatever, then they'd start calling me up. Or once they wanted to be cool again, and then I was able to get them. So, like, I was going back and forward. And see, at this time, dog, like, I spent so much money on that shit. Like, I fucked up a lot of shit. I fucked over a lot of things in my life. It's taken me a long time to get to where I am right now, to get the few little things that I own in my life right now, because of the way that I was behaving back then. I'm talking about, like, we once got like a $9,000 or $10,000 income tax, and when we got the income tax, like, we spend it on things, you know what I mean? Like, we bought things, but slowly, little by little, all those things were getting sold to buy pills. Everything, like, everything ended up, like, going to shit. Everything. I'm talking about everything. Like, we got rid of all our shit. We fucking bought a car and we sold it, and we were driving around in shitty cars. We were lying to people, like, borrowing money from my cousin and my mom and my, you know, like, and not only that, the worst part about it was when like, we started using other people's identities. We were using other people's identities to get pills, see? Because that's the way that the DEA catches onto you. We knew that there was a log. We know that there's a log in every single pharmacy, and every time you buy opiates, they log your name. They log the name of the person, and then like they enter them into this national entry thing, national data entry thing, and then this national data thing says like, yo, it flags the people that have been doing it too much, that have been getting an exorbitant amount of pills. So we knew, that's why we were also able to do it for so fucking long, yo. We knew that if we wanted to fucking get away with it, like, we had to use different identities. We couldn't continuously use ours. To be honest, in the beginning, we never used our identities. Never. We always used everybody else's identities. We would use ours, like, at the end because we started getting desperate and we couldn't figure it out. So, at first, when a little bit was good enough, we would just use, like, our girls' names. And then, little by little, you know, like, we weren't having enough, so we had to do more. We would fucking use like our mom's names. At first we would ask, and then a lot of times, like, we had family members that had Medicaid. We'd ask them, and we'd pay them sometimes, and a lot of them were addicted to like coke, or, you know, so all you had to do is just, hey man, I'll give you a 20 of cocaine if you let me use your name. And they'll do it, man. Like, man. So we're using a lot of fucking people's identities, man. And then like that was the culmination. When I moved over here, I was so hooked, and I was hurting, I was sick, and like the only way, like, we were driving, when I lived over there, I was driving all the way over here to get Suboxones from some guy that lived over here. And when I was living over here, sometimes I had to drive all the way to El Paso, and sometimes I'd drive to El Paso and I'd have to sit there in the sun waiting for hours because they didn't want to show up, or they could manipulate me in any way that they wanted to, because I was so fucking hooked. And I was so fucking sick all the way over there that when I would get over there, if they wanted to say, never mind, bitch, I changed my mind, just come back tomorrow. Like, that kind of shit would happen. Where I would drive all the way to another state, to another city to get the shit. And these fucking people, like, honestly, dude, sometimes I felt like fucking crying because I needed that shit. It was fucked up. It was a fucked up thing. I don't recommend anybody take pills. It's the hardest thing I'd ever had to get off in my whole fucking life. And to be honest, I haven't popped a fucking Vicodin or anything to do with opiates. Anytime that I go to the doctors or the dentist or anything, I take the pain. I tell the guy, just fucking do it. Just fucking do it. I don't care. I'm not going to take no opiates. I'm not going to take no painkillers. If you want, you could numb me out a little bit with that shit, but I will not take any fucking opiates ever again. Fuck that. It's the worst thing that I've ever done in my life. The biggest mistake I ever made in my life was taking that shit. Don't ever pop none of that. So, I don't know, man. Like, in the end, I also, like, I never took heroin, but I was close. Like, I wanted to. Like, if I would have found the heroin, I would have probably done it. Thank God for Suboxones. Okay, so Suboxones, man. Next thing you know, I got homies that are like, they're telling me, like, all you gotta do is go to the Department of Health and they'll give you Suboxones. But see, at the Department of Health, they drug test you. You can't smoke weed if you want to get Suboxones from the Department of Health. Unless, other places, unless you have marijuana medical card or whatever the fuck. Because New Mexico is the legal state if you have medical reasons. Anyways, I couldn't get it no more. My video's about to end because I've already gone on a rant for 30 minutes. Look, don't do it. Fuck painkillers. Fuck all that shit. Fuck drugs. Just smoke some weed. Don't even drink. Fuck drinking. Fuck alcohol. It'll fucking kill you. It'll fuck up your life. All that shit'll fuck up your life. I'm a much happier person with just weed. Just weed. Much love, family. Take care. Peace and love. Respect. Always. Your man.